All right. Well, hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. And you too. Welcome. We're doing a dual podcast.
I,
This is a fun one.
I know it's going to be really fun. I'm excited. We
Yeah.
haven't done this for a bit,
No?
so we're going to hop into some recap.
Yeah.
Maybe first we should introduce ourselves again.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. We're doing a joint podcast right now. So you go
Mhm.
first, Gina. Take it away.
I am Gina Thresher, and you can find me pretty much everywhere at From the Ground Up Floral. Yeah, I also have a sort of more geared towards florist portion, which is dot media. So it's From the Ground Up Floral, dot media. I'm excited to be here today. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Me
So you go
too.
for it.
Me too. It's always a fun one when we're together. It doesn't matter really what we do, which we'll get into that
Oh, for
because I
sure.
think all the shenanigans that we've gone through in the last 2 years has been fun. But
Mhm.
I guess first things first, I'm Anahit and my podcast is Viva Flora Live. And yes, my podcast, much like yours, both of ours actually sat dormant for quite a bit because we've been kind of busy.
Busy.
I know, good busy though. Like it wasn't like
Good
that.
busy.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
busy.
this kind of fell on a back
I'm going through
burner.
the archives and getting stuff done and
Yeah,
edited, but it's pretty sad when you have stuff from like last March that hasn't been touched.
it's
It's
okay.
okay. It's coming. It's all coming.
Well, isn't that the
It's still
beautiful?
really good info.
Yeah, but isn't that the beautiful thing about this whole podcasting thing? Honestly, for me, at least my podcast, I know yours is like that too, right? I don't have rules.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't have seasons. I don't have rules. I have episode
Oh
numbers.
gosh.
There it is. If it's not your vibe, it doesn't jive with you, you know what? Leave. No hard feelings.
Yeah, if you're like way more organized than we are, more power to you.
Honestly,
That's
but
fine.
yeah, but this is two flower friends that ironically enough we did become flower friends through EMC, which was educational kind of a side of
Yeah.
things of floristry, right? Then we went on to some really fun adventures because of that,
Oh man.
and then we ended
I know
within.
we like seem to be. I think we travel together. I think I travel with you more than anybody else, which is funny.
That is
I
funny.
mean, even if it's on accident, I'm like, oh, Ani's here.
I know we just ended up like I know going places together. It's funny. I so we have this really good group of friends, my husband and I. And well, they really are my husband's friends, but they're my friends now since we're married. You know, by
Right.
association.
Yeah.
No, they're amazing people.
Go
They're
by
amazing friends. I
association,
know.
of
So
course.
anytime I come up, I'm like, okay, so there's this flower thing happening, and it's somewhere cool, like in Europe or whatever. They're like, we're coming. So honestly, like, except you and William, I think they are the ones, this couple are the ones that actually have been traveling with us like all over the place
Hmm.
and have done all kinds of flower weird things with me. And they are absolutely not into flowers at all. That is not their thing, but they're just right there supporting, having a vacation on the side.
I don't know, man. I'd be up for whatever too if I
Right.
was. I'm okay to take along. Put me in the suitcase. I'll come with
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. But funny thing. So we decided, Gina and I were like, okay, we're going to start our podcast in January. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do a recap thing. Let's just talk about like, what's been holding us back, right? Because it was all good things and amazing things.
Oh
And there's
yeah,
exponential
yeah.
growth that happened creatively, business, and all of those things for both of us during this time. So we didn't just like abandon you all. I mean, we're back. Sorry.
Yeah, we're back.
I mean, I got a couple of messages actually, not recently, like some time ago when I actually stopped
Oh
initially. It's
yeah,
like, are
I
you
did
gonna,
too. It
yeah,
was
gonna
funny.
release another? I'm like,
You're like, I love this. Are you coming back? I'm like,
all
well,
right. I'm like, I don't know.
yeah. It's just,
I don't know. I'll
it's
come
a
back.
lot of work, you guys.
It is a
It's
lot
a
of work.
lot of work.
It is quite a bit of work. This is the fun part. This is the
This
fun
is the
part.
fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the content done is not the problem. As you can tell, I'm holding on to stuff. I still have stuff from when we went to SAF.
Oof. Okay.
I don't know if I filmed anything when we went to AIFD, but I
Mm,
do know that I filmed when we went to SAF, and I have not published that yet.
that's
So that was
true.
last
Yeah. Yeah.
year.
That was last year. That was last September.
Gosh, that was like a blur because we did that and IMF,
I feel
and
like everything was so back to back and like so fast and
yeah,
moved fast and went fast.
yeah.
So I'm like trying
Last
to
year was a
think.
whirlwind.
It was. It really was. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. The
This
last
year
last
didn't
year
really slow
last year
down
and a
much, so
half.
that's why it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, year and a
Yeah.
half. We'll just put it.
Yeah.
This is our year and a half recap,
There you
guys.
go.
It's
It's the
not.
18 months recap of the madness.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I think we should talk about continuing education a little bit because that is really what kind of brought us together and made us friends,
Hmm.
I think, in the first place, which is funny.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I I
That's not,
I don't know how I would have met you otherwise.
yeah, I
Honestly,
know.
I
It was
think
just, yeah. So it was EMC part two we met. And
mhm,
in,
2018.
yes, holy cow, it was 2018. And
Hmm.
in lovely city of Bruges. Yeah,
Yep,
that's where we went. Yeah, that was
such a
amazing
cute
because we did the
place.
first part separately, and then the second part from East Coast, West Coast, we all kind of,
Yeah.
joined and so on. Of course,
Hmm.
a lot happened since then. But, well, okay, question for you, Gina. What made you do EMC in the first place? I mean, you do weddings predominantly, right? Yes, you do some classes,
Yeah.
you teach a little bit. I mean, you teach now for EMC, which is amazing and exciting. But before
Hmm.
even then, I mean, that didn't fit your wedding model, right? In the
No, it
traditional
doesn't. It
sense, that
doesn't
is.
fit. It doesn't fit anything for the
Right,
really. I mean, I can't say that because honestly, it does fit, but it's a different kind of fit than most people think. It's
right.
more of like it opened me up creatively.
Mhm.
I think it just like cracked me open creatively, and like I had to go pick up my like little spare parts here and there to put myself back together. But yeah, it really opened me up creatively. I think there are things I can conceptualize and do for clients
Mhm.
that maybe not a lot of people can because of EMC.
Right.
Just the way that I can take an idea and elaborate on it and understand what the client's asking,
Mhm.
but interpret that in a way that's super creative and maybe they haven't seen these ideas before. So
Right.
I only get to use it on those specific clients that are like, oh my gosh, do whatever you want, make these cool things for, and it's really fun when that does happen. But
Mhm.
honestly, it doesn't cross over too much. Besides the fact that I'm way more confident,
Right.
and I think that's once you gain that, it's game changing. It's
Mhm.
it's a literal game changer. I'm way more confident. I can walk in on a Wednesday after everybody's picked over everything and be like, nope, that'll work, that'll work, that'll work. I'll grab this,
That's
and it's
funny.
it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah, that's funny when there is actually, it's interesting you saying that. It's an interesting point, the whole that confidence and also looking at things differently too, right? When you for me for sure was when I was less confident, I would look at things and I needed very specific things, right?
mm-hmm.
And then whenever
Yep,
that specific thing wasn't available, you just get internally bent out of shape, right? You're keeping a poker
oh
face and
yeah,
everything else, but internally you're like,
you're
what
crying
am
inside
right?
and you're
What am I gonna
freaking
do? And
out.
then you're freaking out, and then you come down. Eventually, everything all works out. It's not brain surgery; it's flowers after all, right?
Yeah,
But you still go through this internal thing. I don't remember the last time I've gone through that.
it's been a long time for me
Yeah,
too.
I'm
I
just like,
don't
all
think
right,
I've gone
whatever.
through that.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Yeah,
It's
and
funny.
I it makes you honestly, it's funny. Like, it really makes you the most loved person at your wholesaler too.
I love my wholesaler. They love me. I think I don't
Because
know.
I just stand there and I watch because they're answering the phone. They're like, somebody's freaking out because they don't have the right color rose or the right
Right.
color this, and it's not going to work. And I'm like, use whatever, use that. That's fine. Grab that.
Yeah.
And my wholesalers was like, oh my God, you're amazing. I love you. Like, you're never a problem. I'm like,
Isn't that funny? Like, and
should
then
there be a problem? I don't
I
think there should
mean,
be.
no, no, when it comes to flowers, I'm sorry, but no, the world is full of so many other problems. I honestly, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, if that is the problem in your life, you're doing great. You're doing great. You should
Yeah.
just breathe. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I think the perspective needs to be realigned there
Oh,
too. So, yeah,
100%.
if that's the worst you got, come on. You're
Exactly.
doing
It's
great.
funny. I think the thing that it also gave me was a better vocabulary.
Oh, for
I
sure. Yeah. So
like trying to
Sue and I talked
explain
a little
things.
bit about that. I
Yeah.
edited that podcast recently
Oh,
and
did you?
we did hit on that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just interesting. It's like now I can actually, and you sound so much smarter with your customers too, right? Then you gain more respect as a
Hmm.
result. You are a professional. At the end of the day,
It's not
you're
just
not
a
just a
sounding
flower
smarter.
lady,
You are literally
right?
smarter. Like it's in there and you're like, oh yeah, that's this because of that. And
Right? Yeah,
there's a reason why most florists do this. And
exactly. Yep. No, absolutely.
yeah.
I love that. So fast forward, right, past EMC, and then of course,
Oh, I'm just gonna do a little plug really
oh,
quick.
go for it.
EMC
Yes.
EMC did change their fundamentals course, so it's
Oh, that's
now,
right.
or I'm
Important.
sorry,
No, that is
they
important.
changed their foundation course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is now called Fundamentals,
Okay.
and we've just made it a lot more accessible for everybody. It's a one-part beginning course.
Mm-hmm.
And if you choose not to do the rest of EMC, there are 3 parts. But if you choose not to move on, you still get your beginning certificate and everything. And we're actually hosting Q&As right now for that. So if you are interested in signing up, go check out the EMC page, Instagram or online EMC program. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's probably one of the best curriculums I've ever seen, and I'm honored to get to teach. So
I think it is
yeah.
one of the best curriculums. Actually, it truly is. And I'm not saying I don't teach for EMC. I am not biased when it comes to that. I've done quite a bit of education.
I've been around a lot of people that teach, and I honestly, like, it's a very good
Mm-hmm.
curriculum if you're
It really
interested in
is.
expanding.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well, I went on and did the EMC alumni mastermind after that. Ursula was there
Yeah,
with
that's
me
right.
and a few other people. That was such an eye opening experience, honestly,
Mm.
because the stress of taking a test to be
Yeah, that was
graded
gone.
was gone, right? So all of a sudden, you're kind of like, it gave you more breathing room to dive into the topics, right? Even
Hmm.
more, because there was that judgment is not the right word, but something along those lines wasn't hanging over you, right? You're like, you know what? Like, this is like sky's the limit, right?
Hmm.
And you don't have that stress. So
I think
everything,
that's mostly what it is. It's the
yeah,
stress. It's like you're gonna be graded on this, so you have to make
right. It was
sure.
very different.
And when you're
Sure.
not being graded, it's a
Oh,
little
absolutely.
different.
The pressure was very
Yeah.
different. And all of a sudden, this pressure is gone. And then it's like, whew, you can fly however how you wanted to fly with this, right? And it was amazing, especially when it came to the art project. We literally had no borders. It was like
Oh,
a
that's
wild
fun.
west of like, all right, take your creativity and run with it. And boy, did we run
That's
with
really
it.
fun.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
And I don't know, when I ask you like why did you do continuing education? Why do you think continuing education in general is important?
In general, I think it's important. I mean, honestly, it just depends on your personality.
True.
I'm one of those people that's just going to forever be learning.
Same. Same.
And I think it does broaden my horizons, and it gives me a lot more opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
like amazing opportunities
Mm-hmm.
done since I've done EMC. And I guess even before that, like when I joined AIFD, that opened up so many doors and opportunities. Just the amount of people that are in our industry that are so freaking cool. It's incredible what it opens doors for. Like
Right.
I would have never gotten to speak on main stage if I hadn't done that. And I mean, it's just a cool experience to be with these people.
Yeah. Now that was I was there for that talk. That was
I
pretty
would have
good.
never met you.
That
That's
is true. That is true.
right.
Yes. And we wouldn't have vacations and all kinds of fun adventures together. That's true.
Right.
That is true. It's
I think
funny.
it just really opens up your world in incredible ways and things you can't even like
Hmm.
you couldn't even foresee that.
Yeah. I it's funny, like all of those things are true. And every time anyone ever asks me like, why do you take so many classes? Why do you want to like da 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 da? Like you're good. Why do you do this or whatever? I'm like, yeah, but it never feels like it's enough. But I don't remember which philosopher actually said this at all. But I remember from my philosophy class very specifically, actually, I was in dental school year one, I think. Yes. So okay. Anyways, this is really weird, but I remembered it so distinctly because that visual always stayed with me. And currently, when I teach, right, at every single class session, that is a thing that I tell, not the story, not the background of it, but the thing that my professor said that stuck with me, I always tell them. And in short, it basically, if you imagine the circle of your knowledge, like imagine a circle, like he would draw a circle literally on a board, right? This just like tiny circle. Let's say it's an inch in
Sure.
diameter, right? So you're like, okay, so inside of the circle is your knowledge, all of your knowledge right now as you stand. Circumference of the circle is the unknown. So you know this much on the inside, the
The
circumference is
outside.
the outside that you do not know. And he goes, okay. And then as you learn, your circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But you know what else gets bigger? Your exposure to the unknown. So it doesn't matter how much you learn, you're never going to learn it all. And it's always going to keep expanding however much you want to expand. And I was like, that is profound. What? Like, imagine you're freaking, I don't know, 16, sitting in college. You're like, what? Like, of course, it landed differently than it would have landed now. But it's so true.
Yeah, no, it's still profound and true. I think
I mean,
it's
I don't know.
true.
For me,
You
it's
can expand that circle as much as you
I
want,
just
or
keep
you can keep
chasing
it
that circle,
small.
basically. It's
Yeah, but I
funny.
mean, you can also just keep it small if the concepts of learning new things and meeting new people is not for you. Also, probably not listening to this podcast, but
That's true.
whatever.
That's true. I think half the listeners just dropped.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they're out the door.
Oh
It's
well.
okay.
Oh well. But there's
It's
more to
okay.
come. So,
No, I
anyways,
think most of the people that are listening here know that learning is a lifelong
yeah.
goal situation.
Oh, 100%
You
agree.
just keep going.
And you know what? There is no one size fits all. There is no right or wrong. Well,
Oh no.
there's some bad situations out there. Yes, I know. The classes that they're entirely too overpriced, perhaps sometimes, or whatever. Like you pay in a tunes of, I don't know, five, six, seven, $10,000 for like a 3-day masterclass. And I don't know. I mean, I've been around a few of those too, and I'm like, no, but it wasn't still entirely a waste of time. It just wasn't really my cup of tea. But there were people that were completely engaged in it and loving every second of it, right? So there is one that fits for everyone, right? So it's not one size fits all. I mean, yes, we started talking about
True.
EMC because that's where we met.
Yeah.
But even with the plug and everything else, yes, I would highly recommend it. It is an amazing program. But if that's not your
Hmm.
thing, that's not your thing. It doesn't have to be, you know?
It doesn't have to be,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna go on the limb and say like the education in our industry has it's interesting. You have
Yeah,
the
you
people
think?
that teach emotional courses and
Yes.
you learn a lot more of the fluff and the emotional side
Mm-hmm.
of things. And then there are the courses that you and I take that we're learning we're learning like theory and design and it
Mm-hmm.
just keeps going and nomenclature and the the scientific like the actual facts, the hard facts of floristry
Well, it's
and
looking
design.
right. And again, there's a place for all of those. And I've been to both of those type of things, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
and
have too.
yeah, and
And I think
they
you're
all
right,
have
it does
their
just depend.
yeah, they all have their place in a way, but I think I get more out of from more structured slash maybe theoretically heavy courses than I do
Yeah.
from the kumbaya feel. Sorry. I sound so terrible. I sound so
No,
bitchy
I
right
know.
now. That
And I
is
know,
not
I knew exactly where you were going with that, and I'm like,
but
oh, I.
that's not what I mean. I mean, I've been in a place. Okay, so let me drive a parallel with
It
coaching.
also depends on what you're trying to get
But
out of
that's
it.
it.
Like if you
Yeah.
need,
Yeah, let me drive a
yeah,
parallel with coaching. I've had coaches, business coaches, personal coaches, pretty much in my last 10 years of my life, maybe more, I don't
hmm,
know, in some capacity. Consultants, coaches, this, that, the other, right? I mean, whether it
sure,
was flower, dental, whatever, or a combination of it all. And I've had coaches where it was all about the woo woo, feel good, the kumbaya thing, whatever, and give me my
yeah,
crystal and walk, like everybody walk away kind of thing. And in that moment, in that moment in time, that is really what I needed without even knowing it, right?
hmm,
But then I outgrew that. And then my next coach wasn't that. It was a different one, which was more like drill sergeant, like accountability and all of those things. And I realized that's what I
yep,
was lacking in the other one, but I needed to go through the first one to lend it to here so that I could actually be open to it, right? So there is a need for all of it. Yeah.
exactly,
So yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
but I get it. So
I've been in the same shoes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it wasn't that I
there are
was.
times when you just need somebody to yell at you to get something
Oh,
done,
I got yelled at several
versus
times.
like, oh, it's okay.
You do
Yeah,
you.
give yourself grace.
Right. Yeah.
It's a totally different vibe, and I
Yeah.
some people roll with it, some people roll with the other.
That too, and also again, where are you in your career, life, business,
Yeah.
whatever, at that moment in
Yeah.
time? Whatever the right fit for you is, you will find it, I think is what it is. But
Yeah.
then fast forward, of course, we've done several AIFDs together. We've done
Yep.
FSI together. I feel like we can do a whole episode on an FSI, like the whole competition thing. I feel like that should just rest here, and then we'll come
Oh,
back
yeah.
to the Sylvia Cup. My very first one, because it was a royal disaster. I think
Oh,
that
you
should be
meant
in
SAF.
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 SAF. What did I say?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't even know. Anyways,
I can
SAF.
probably rewind it and find out,
No,
but
it's all good.
it's
So,
SAF.
anyways, yes, no, that was. I think we should do disastrous episodes, and there you go. This belongs in that one for me, not here. Anyways, so but fast forward, of course, we've done that, and then we landed at IMF,
Hmm.
right?
That was also a random thing too, because you told me you were going. Our friend Rebecca had previously done it,
Yeah,
and then come to find out, Susan McCleary was going to. Oh, she joined us in the second
she
round
joined us, and
because
she
she
wasn't there for the
finished.
first one. Yes.
Right, but I wasn't gonna go. I was like,
Mm-mm.
no, I can't do it. I
I,
can't. I like. It's been on my to do list for a couple of years, right?
mhm.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, damn it, she's gonna go.
I
Damn
wasn't
it,
gonna,
she's
Gina. I
gonna
wasn't gonna
go.
go. Also, like I made that decision within like 3 weeks leading up to it, and the reason I
Yeah,
made the decision was I don't know who said. I think it was maybe Rebecca said, "Oh, you know what? Gregor might not be teaching anymore." I was like, "Wait a minute. What?" Yeah,
yeah, that was it
that
for
was the
me too.
catalyst for
When
me.
you mentioned that he's not gonna do it
I was
again,
like,
I
"I
was
don't
like,
think he is. I don't know." So I was like, "Gina, I
make
signed
sure.
up. What are you doing, like with your life,
Yeah,
basically?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know." And then literally a day later, she's like, "I signed up." I'm
I
like,
signed up.
"Well, okay." That didn't take a lot
Well, it
of
was
arm
basically
twisting.
that. I mean, I had told, gosh, wait, when we were in Vegas,
Hmm.
and Mike Burma was there helping with Tommy and all of
That's
the
right.
stuff we were
He was there
doing.
to report. He was doing reporting
Yeah,
essentially
he
for,
was there
yeah.
to help, and he mentioned that like maybe
Right.
Gregor wasn't going to be doing it much longer, and then I was like, oh. So I mentioned that to my husband. I'm like, I don't think Gregor's going to do it
Hmm.
as much longer. He's like, well, you better. When I had found out you were going, he's like, well, you better sign up.
Right. That
I
was
was like,
basically again split second
that was it.
decision. That was it.
Yeah.
You know the funny thing is, I hung out with Mike because you had a stage presentation, you had to teach, like you were like gone and busy with that. So
Yeah,
I
but we
was
went out. I think we went out a couple nights.
right, but well,
I don't know what it was.
I was media pass with Mike, and I had no
Hmm.
idea who Mike was. I mean, I was that kind of clueless that like after we left AIFD, I was like, wait, that was the Mike Burma?
That was me, Mike
Ah,
Burma.
okay, himself. So I hung out with him pretty much the entire time. I had no idea who I was
Yeah.
hanging out with. And it was funny, like coming full circle, like literally a few months later and like within like split second decision. I'm like, so I reached out and he's like, well, I need a portfolio. It needs to get approved and blah, 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 all this stuff or whatever. I'm like, Gina. So I started poking Gina. And then next thing I know, she's like, I'm coming. I'm like,
I'm
yay.
coming.
That was it. I mean, and then we found out that Sue didn't do her second part because she was in the year before. So she joined us on the
Right.
second part.
She
And
joined us on the second part in
yeah,
March of
that was
this
really
year,
good. Yep.
2024. Yeah, so IMF started November.
Hmm.
So we did, gosh, we did September. We did the SAF. That was
Right.
September.
That was
And then November, we started IMF, which was another whirlwind because
true.
we had to plan all of that.
Oh my God, that was, yeah.
Well, it's different because we decided to rent a car and stay a little bit further out. Not really. No, not in November. We did rent a car though,
Well, we
but
rented a car because,
and
but
thank you, bless Anahit for
I'm
driving.
like, oh, I may have lost my cool a time or two or
I'm
three
sorry.
driving in Netherlands. Woof.
When you have like water on both sides because of the dikes and stuff, and then you have the cars parked literally almost in the
And
water, and then
super
you have
skinny, narrow
bicycles on top of that.
streets. Oh
It's
my
just so.
God. Oh, and their bikes are coming out of popping out of everywhere. And then,
Oh, everywhere. Bikes are
oh,
everywhere.
well, I mean, it's
Bikes are
Holland,
everywhere.
right? They have more bikes than cars or people or whatever. I feel like they have a
Yeah.
bike, they have like 3 bikes per family member or something. I don't know. There's so many bikes. The worst
I'm
one
going to be
was,
popping bike pictures on our screen because I have all the photos still. So,
so
I mean, it's
the
nuts.
worst was that every day on the second day, a second session, during the second session. Oh, the first one too. We would drive by the school to go to Starbucks because we needed our coffee. And oh, that's a whole another story. We'll come back
Oh
to the
yeah.
shenanigans
We'll
stories
come
in a
back to
minute.
that one. Yeah.
But so I'm driving, and there's this bush, if you can imagine, on the right, which the bike person on a bike. I mean, they all are tall and statuesque on their bikes, right? And that, but the family bikes, the children are sitting like below like the wheel level, like super low. So if they're behind the bush, you don't see the nose of this bike. And I'm like, okay, the bike is far. And then I almost ran over several children. I'm like, this is not okay. I am not okay. I really thought I was going to murder a child at one
It
point.
definitely helps
It
to
was
have somebody in your
terrifying.
passenger seat
Yes.
being like, ah.
Gina was a passenger driver, aka emotional support, aka psychiatrist, psychologist, a mother, a father, all of those things at times, or a drill sergeant. Like I needed that. It was
Yeah.
so, and the road signs, you don't understand what it means. Half of it is all
Oh
confusing.
yeah, we only found out like the shark teeth thing. You know what? Though we have that here, and I'm not. I
I've
realized that
never
we have the
noticed it
little
here
shark teeth
also.
thing.
Yep, same.
Yeah, we have
I
it
do
here
know
too.
now.
They are
Yeah.
very like they're very strict with
Specific.
their driving rules
Very.
in the
And
Netherlands.
they're not
So
friendly when they're driving on the road. Like Belgium,
not
driving in
not
Belgium
no.
felt like walking a park. It was beautiful. Everybody's chill, lay back. In Holland, everybody's honking at you because apparently I was driving too slow for them. I don't know. And it's like raining sideways. I
Oh,
can't
that's
see
not. Yeah,
anything. And they're like, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
people, like, I'm just trying to stay alive. Like, this is not okay. Oof, that was so stressful. Thank God for Sue being there for the second time. Sue drove a lot of the times. She's like, do you want to drive? I'm like,
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't drive
traumatized.
until I think we ended up going to Germany and then I
Right.
drove. But
Oof.
I was saving my driving for that. I was like, oh man.
Germany
I'm
was
sorry, the sun
easier
keeps
though.
getting right in my
Yeah, you're
face.
good. Germany was easier though than for some reason Holland
For
was
sure.
just
I
harsh.
agree with you.
Yeah, it was
The
harsh.
driving in Germany was okay.
I mean, I
It
just
wasn't
recently
bad.
drove in Italy and it was amazing. It was beautiful. Lay back, no problems at all.
No
Still
problems.
super whiny, skinny, whatever, weird roads and everything else. No clue what the signs meant. Didn't matter. Somehow there's
Are
this
you still driving on the
chillness.
same side?
Yes,
That's the same
yes.
side
No, no,
still. Okay.
it is still the same side. But for some reason, Holland just stressed me out. Like I'm like, oh my
I think
goodness.
it's the bikes and the
It's probably
pedestrians.
the
There's so
bikes.
many
It really
people
probably
walking
bikes.
and biking
Yeah,
around.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, oof, those bikes. Anyways, so
So yeah. So November we did IMF for the first time and our experience was
it
amazing.
was really good.
Um, as you can tell, the driving situation was a little
Oh,
odd,
that was
but
stressful.
we
And it rained every day. I thought I was going to grow mushrooms on my head at one point because it rained so much. But
that's where
yeah.
I was like, it's like home. It's fine.
See, you're used to that. She's like, yeah, this feels like South Pacific. I'm
Mhm.
like, I have no clue what that feels like. It was
Yep.
so
No,
wet
we're North
and
Pacific,
cold.
man. It's like we're on the same, I think, longitude. No, that would
Oh,
be
maybe. Yeah.
latitude. We're on the same latitude.
Yeah. Oof.
So we get literally the same weather. It's just a little more aggressive in Holland because they're right on the water. So they get like a
Oh,
lot of those storms.
that makes
And their weather
sense.
changes super fast. Like that day that I went out for the run when we were there in March. I went out for a run. It was supposed to be a 13-mile run, and mile 8 the weather changed. It was like nice and fine. And then the weather changed. It's raining sideways. The wind is so windy, I can barely move forward. And at this was like, this is on William's birthday because we decided to go running and do like a little half marathon run on his birthday. Oh my God, I have never been in weather so bad when we were running. Like, it was so bad. I could barely move forward because it was so windy and the wind sideways.
You could barely
And then like
talk
we
when you
got
got
done and it's
back.
we got done and I could barely move my hands and you guys weren't there because you know how hard the Airbnb door was to open. Oh, that's a whole nother story. That Airbnb.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna. This is gonna become a
Uh,
two-parter, and then we're just gonna become
yeah,
the
we're gonna have to talk about the
adventures of the flower
adventures.
friends on another one. My God, yes, the
I think we're just
Airbnb.
covering IMF in this one.
I
That's
know.
it.
Well,
So the first
yeah.
session I mean, okay, let's finish the rain story. Anyways, my hands were freezing and couldn't even barely open the door. We had to like text you and get you to open up the door because neither of us could open the door.
And then they can't.
Our hands were so cold.
You could not talk. Like you were like, okay, like what happened?
Soaked,
Oh my
just soaked.
god, that was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That happened too.
so we'll backtrack to November IMF. We stayed at the
Chariot.
The Chariot Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
The adventures there.
Not so charming Chariot.
Not so. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was good. IMF was just going back to education, right? How amazing was to study with Gregor and have spend so many days collectively, right, between both sessions with someone who is so giving. I mean, my God,
That's the main part.
He can't
we were there
stop
from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Yeah. If we wanted to stay 24 hours, he probably would have just stayed 24 hours, just giving and giving and giving and teaching and just oh my God. Like he doesn't have an off button. And he's so incredible. I mean, talented. No, I mean, this is Gregor Lersch. I don't have to sell him to you, right? Or anybody for that matter. Exactly.
And if you don't know who Gregor Lersch is, my gosh, I don't know. There are some people that I approach and they're like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, are you serious?
Well, the thing is, yes, depends on what school of thought you approached floristry from, right? If that makes any sense. If you're a farmer florist kind of thing, maybe it wasn't on your radar, right? But if you're going to like some AIFD symposiums and things like that, you're a little bit more exposed to like competition design and stuff like that, then you for sure have heard of Gregor Lersch and seen his books and so on. But I mean, his book on techniques is probably by far, hands down, till today, the best technique book ever written. It's fantastic.
He pulled out the whole box of stuff, like this whole box full of his little things that he wanted to show us for the techniques.
Yes.
Like, it was so cool. And he threw them all out on the table and went over all of them.
It's so
if you are looking for techniques, that man is, he's like a combination of a basket weaver /
I don't know, magician.
Shop. Like, his fingers never stop moving.
Yes.
He makes things all the time.
The most incredible thing was, I mean, all of it was amazing, honestly. The best moment was when the last day of us designing, and that meant that there is no next day lecture. And so that means Gregor has nothing to prepare. So man's bored, okay? So
he was so bored.
He's assisting us.
And we were doing a group project.
Right.
So he's wandering around looking for things to do.
Right. And like he literally sits down and he says, I will do these things for you. And he's wrapping water tubes or whatever. I'm like, well, what are you doing, Gregor? He says, I'm assisting you. I'm like, what? And then he's trying to clean the floor, and he's just he just could not sit still. But he kept like hopping from station to station, and every station he went to, he basically was assisting all of the designers doing their group projects and stuff. And
he helped me and
you were with Matthew on that one, I think.
Yeah, he helped me and Matthew. We were cutting bamboo, so he helped us cut bamboo.
He's just, I mean, the amount of energy. Holy cow. It's just, again, just goes back to, I mean, I think I've said this over and over in many different circles, but there are a handful of educators that are truly true and through, like, their core human being. That's who they are. They're born educators. Hitomi is one of those people. And if you've never studied with her, my God, I literally don't even bother what she's teaching. Just go take it. Especially if it's live. She's amazing. I mean, Gregor is that person. Like that, there's a handful of people who have that gift, right? That gift of giving, just endless giving, and in a way that it's like, I want to keep going back and forth, like with them. Like I've taken classes with Hitomi so many times. Anytime there's an opportunity, I'm like, I'm there, sure. Or with Gregor, if I can afford it, if I can make it happen financially, time. I mean, it takes quite a bit of commitment, right? Yes, we're right now sitting here, I feel like on our lovely little high horses or pedestals, and we're like, yes, education, go do it. Let's get real though. Like, it costs, right? It costs money, it costs time, it costs energy.
Yeah.
And it's, so sometimes, like, for someone who's listening right now, like, well, it must be nice. Does that make sense? So pick and choose what you want to study, where you want to study, really do your research, I would say,
Yeah.
it is
No,
worth.
it is. It's an investment,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it's not really to be taken lightly. I
Mm-mm.
mean, I know we get to sit up here and talk about all these things we've done, but I can't tell you how blessed I am for like it's not even that. It's just like I think again having the education opened up the doors for more education
Yeah,
and to be surrounded with those kinds of people.
absolutely.
But I wouldn't have gotten here if I didn't take that first step.
I agree, 100% agree. So, so Gina, what do you think? Like, what would you recommend to a person who's like, when I just can't afford that. Like, what do I do? And the reason I'm asking this
Yeah.
question is because I am part of a local organization, IFDA, Independent Floral Designers
Yep.
Association, which is an
And they
amazing,
do amazing things. And it's
amazing,
not
amazing.
so
They're not,
expensive. It's not out of touch. I mean, like that's where
no,
I would say to look. I
it's
here in the
hundred
Northwest,
and
we don't.
my God, it's hundred and something. It's not even $200 annually to be a member. You get all these
Yeah.
free, amazing presentations once a month, and all of these things. I cannot say more positive things about
And
this.
anybody can be a member
Yes, it is
for
a local
AIFDA.
organization to me for Maryland. It is a Maryland
Yeah.
based organization, but we have a lot of people that are from all over the place, right? Florida, Denver, and this and that, the other, Chicago. I mean, the membership is growing quite a bit.
I've been meaning to sign up. I need to. I
Shame
just
on
haven't
ya.
done it.
Shame
I know,
on
shame on
ya.
me.
No, but like
I
what I'm
know.
saying is though, like
No,
even bare
it's
minimum
a
do that,
amazing
right?
resource.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's some people in there, like as we're recording this, I am getting ready to go to Bart Hassam's 2-day masterclass that
I gotta move this. Hold on.
IFDA is putting. And Gina's getting scorched under the sun right now. If you are
I know.
listening,
I'm
you
like,
can't
sorry. I
see.
gotta
So
move.
we're
I
just,
can't see anything,
playing
and
chess
I
over
have
here.
to get up
Um,
here.
but there's some
Okay.
people in there that like, oh my God, I wish I could do it. I cannot do it. Right. So you're like, okay, so what advice do you have for people who can't do the fancy educational pathways, but potentially not yet, at least?
Start small.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that too. I mean, it was hard for me because I'm in an area that doesn't have a floral association at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, I reached out. This was when wholesale houses were still doing a lot more education. So I got involved with that. I went to like all the shows and I
Mm-hmm.
met like some really cool designers that were traveling around and teaching, which was really fun. And then I got turned on to AIFD,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't so much. So we're going to talk about that for a second. AIFD is not a place to get education. It is it's a place to more network with people who have education and so you're basically showing that these skills, which takes a lot of training. So
Oh, you mean becoming? You
I
mean becoming the? You're talking about credentialing, as in becoming an
right,
AIFD
right, right, right.
accredited. Okay, got it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not education. Like you're not
Right.
going to find courses and classes at AIFD. You're going to find other members that know how to do these things.
Right.
So I found that out and went through a I went through the Floral Design Institute. Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a designing for competition course. Wasn't that expensive. Got me into AIFD and I tested. I didn't pass my first time,
Mm-hmm.
but I did pass my second time. And I think just surrounding myself with those people
Right.
that did teach and educate and were in the headspace of like we're here to share knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
that really turned me on to other events and other people. And that's where I met Hitomi.
Mm-hmm.
And Hitomi was actually my inspiration for joining and signing up for EMC.
Mm-hmm. Same.
She's no longer with the program, but she did heavily influence it. And yeah, so it's the people you meet along the way who
Mm-hmm.
you are the sum of the five people. So if you can make those people amazing,
There you go.
yeah,
How does that saying go? Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are, kind of thing.
right.
Yeah,
No, it's
that's
so true.
that's funny. Yeah.
But like that, I mean, you don't have to start out spending $10,000 to go to Europe to learn.
Right.
You can start out smaller. And again, like there are way more affordable courses available
Oh, I
than
agree, including free. I mean, just
including
saying.
free.
YouTube
I mean,
University
what
is an
Gregor?
amazing place to be. I'm just saying, that's
Yep,
where I started.
yep,
Mine was YouTube
yep.
University. I didn't even know who Hitomi
YouTube
was.
University.
I watched their
So
videos.
you catch up on old videos from the people you like. They all have stuff out there.
So
I know
much stuff
Gregor
out
has
there.
like a Patreon, and it's not expensive.
No.
If you can't go in person, sign up for
Right.
that.
Well, also maybe search for local organizations. I know that IFDA, and we'll link up all of these things in a show notes, so you don't have to like wonder, okay, what on earth are you talking about? But basically, it's a
Yeah,
local
yeah, yeah,
Maryland
yeah.
organization, and it's below $200 to become a member. I'm not. I am a member. I'm not a board member, so I don't remember all the ins and outs of it. Here's what I would say: that they create really interesting programs. Basically, all throughout the year, every month, they create design challenges. Then we have Zoom and Bloom kind of meetings and discussion of these challenges and
See,
things
that
like
one
that.
sounds fun. I'm bummed I
It's
miss.
so
I need
amazing.
to.
Like,
I need to
it's
sign
so
up.
much
Those
fun.
sound fun.
Like, I love it.
That's what I miss around here. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that. We don't have the collaboration as much as you guys
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
So
honestly,
pumped.
like for example, next this coming month, one of the presenter is actually an artist. She's also an art education. I'm sorry, art history educator. Right, nothing to do with floristry. It's specifically like painting, sculptures, whatever. That's her medium, right? But
That's
she has
cool.
done a presentation for IFDA. My God, I don't know, like I want to say maybe 7 years ago or something like that, that I was a part of, and I'm like, my eyes just got so big when she was talking about art in general, because it was just much like going through EMC, right? You because art is an art, right? I mean, yes, the medium changes. Does that make sense? Like it could be painting, it
Yeah.
could be sculpting, it could be whatever. Your medium can be flower, your medium can be brick, your medium can be paint, your medium can be
So
whatever. It was just
that's really fun that you
fascinating.
say that too, because when I went to China
Mm-hmm.
a couple months ago, we were teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And when we showed up, we didn't know, like, we didn't get any preface of, like, oh, you're teaching these
Right.
people are designers, they have XY skills. No, none of that. Like, we didn't know who our audience was. So we
Mm.
show up. Some of these people haven't even touched flowers ever.
Oh my.
Some of them are interior design people. One lady owned a clothing shop.
Mm-hmm.
Another one like graphic designers. Like it was all over the board.
Mm-hmm.
They were designers,
Mm-hmm.
but not specifically floral.
Right.
We did have a couple of people who were in the floral industry too, of course, but the way that the gal that hosted us, the way that she had marketed the class is she opened it up to all her Instagram followers, which brought in a slew of people who did design.
Mm.
So we weren't teaching florists at all,
Wow.
which, I mean, yeah, okay, there were a few, but like the majority of these people weren't florists, but they understood
Because the
and
theory applies. Yeah.
they were able to design some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And each of us taught a section. I taught color, a couple other, like Rebecca did plant design. There was one that did like more mechanics and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just like everybody got to go to each of these classes and
Right.
put them all together. So it was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and again, goes back to show you, I think start anywhere really. Like I said, my first educator was UTB University, honestly, because I could
Yep.
not find any kind of formal education around me at the time when I was starting.
Yep.
There was nothing, honestly. It was we didn't have Instagram, for the record. It was that old. Isn't that
Well,
funny?
I mean, that's when I started too.
Yeah, there was no Instagram. It was
There was no
Facebook. There's
Instagram.
Facebook, no Instagram, and none of this stuff. But there's inspiration everywhere, right? So try to figure it out on your own if you can. Look at the photos or whatever, and just work back, right? Like, hey, well, how can I maybe create this thing? But the basic stuff, if you want to learn the basic stuff, at least for the beginning stages, I feel like there's some really bad advice out there as well. I'm not going to deny that, but you will find some really good information out there that is just free flowing and it's just given and it's out
Yep.
there. I would say start there, start with your local organizations and then move up from there, right? It's not that complicated. Yes, it doesn't have to cost tens of thousands of dollars as some of these courses could potentially be and are, but it's then what you do with it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes
100%.
down to. So, anyways, but I think this was a good recap. So I think we should just talk about the disaster stories in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about the disasters. So, okay. November, we did IMF. And then I started, like, we went back in March.
Mm-hmm.
And then I taught in China.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I feel like there's other things we did.
There were other things, and I don't remember. Isn't that funny? Like, I'm like, what else did we do? What else happened? I don't remember so much.
Yeah, we
I've
had
been
our
gone
little,
a
like,
lot.
German road trip. And then you've been traveling. Like, it's been
Like, I've
insane.
been,
So
yeah. I,
it's been a whirlwind,
mm-hmm.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't remember the last. Okay. So until in the last year and a half, I've only been home. This is the longest. Well, right before I went to Italy was the longest I've been home, which was all of 4 weeks, which is shocking, right? So, because I was gone almost every other week to something and somewhere or whatever, and my next trip is in a month, and then in another 2 months. And can I just say how excited I am to actually
yeah,
be home? Like,
be
it
home.
is like, woof.
I know. I was just like flipping back. I was secretly looking at my calendar under here. So yeah, my year started out. We did IMF in November, then in
We kind of,
January, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
2024.
Mm-hmm.
I did the wedding shows. That was it.
Mm.
I did a couple of wedding shows. And then March, straight into IMF. We
Mm-hmm.
did our little German road trip, came back. I had weddings while we were gone.
Oh, that's right.
And then I came back and freelanced with Rebecca. So that was
Mm-hmm.
another trip. Went to China in May.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ran a marathon in June. Yeah.
All right. So
And then
I
it's wedding season. Like, June kicked off wedding season. And it's been insane
I'm
ever since.
scared to look at my calendar.
For next year, or like last year.
My last
Yeah,
year,
is what you did.
I was really
Yeah,
gone.
you were all
Like,
over the place. I think you were hard to get a hold
I
of.
feel like I've been out of the country too many times this year. All fun
Okay.
things, all good places, but I missed my
Yeah.
walls, I missed my cats, I missed everything.
Your bed.
I missed my bed, all of those things. So I think being intentional actually about it for the next year is really in the what's in the books for us.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
what like
sure.
what we've done, my husband and I, we both are always busy. We both are teaching, we both are learning, then travel, just all of this between the two of us. We're terrible influence on each other when it comes to this, in a good way.
In a good way.
Right. So we've done our 2025 calendar already, right? All of the courses, all of the things. And what we've done, we this year we've actually approached it differently. So we've taken the calendar and like crunched in things like close to each other, right? So then we have like 2 weeks of like madness, and then we have like 2 months of nothing. Right? Nothing as
I
in like
think
we're
it's
not
going to be good.
traveling, but also I wanted to do that because I wanted to open up my calendar for more weddings and events and educational side of things, because I'm starting to do classes and things like that. So I'm like, all right, I want to start doing those things, more and more of those things, because I actually really like and enjoy doing this, right? So anyway, so I think like looking at my 2025 calendar, I'm actually really excited. Speaking of that, we have several exciting things coming up next year that, you know,
Yeah.
so Gina is planning on doing a content retreat, possibly January. I'm like now just uninvitedly just spilling the beads over here, but stay tuned. We'll share more information about that. This might happen.
You're allowed to spill the beans because it's your studio.
Well,
So,
there you go. So I said it. So there you go. Now you cannot back down. So it's happening. It's gonna
nope,
be
it's happening. You're going to hold me accountable. So, the dates, we are planning the 7th through the 9th of July, tentatively.
January.
January. Oh my God. I'm looking at a calendar. That's why I'm screwing up.
It's all good. So here,
Yeah. Okay.
I'll keep you straight. So January.
All right. January.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening coming up.
Yep.
January 7th through 9th.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more focused on getting your quarter planned out.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about all things calendar for the upcoming quarter. And being that the focus of this is going to be like building out your marketing calendar so you don't have to struggle. Because the number one thing that we found when we did our Where Do We Grow From Here online workshop with Florvana, the thing that we found most is people struggle with getting things done because of the time. Like they don't have enough time. So how cool would it be to have your whole content scheduled out, planned out for all of March? And I'm working on a membership to maybe keep that rolling throughout the year. So stay tuned. I'll get the info up for it shortly. There will be a wait list, of course, linked below. But yeah,
No,
that's exciting.
I think that's very exciting. And I don't know about you, but, and you and I have done this before when I'm like, I'll call them like, so I'm stuck. I just need someone to co-work with me. So we would
Yes.
literally like get on Zoom and not talk, mute ourselves and power work and then pause and bounce off of ideas, right? So there's this like this other person there and you guys are holding each other accountable kind of thing. And that, I mean, for me, that works. Like if I need to
Oh,
like
it's amazing.
really power through something, that works like magic for me. I've done that with Christy before. Like it's just, it's, I don't know,
Yeah.
it really helps.
Accountability working sessions are
Yeah, like
amazing.
work sessions. Essentially, think of it like the ultimate work session, and it's not fluff. Like this is not going to be
No.
like we're going to give you all
No.
of the coulda, shoulda, woulda, and good luck on figuring out how. This is going to be the how and the what itself, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's why I'm actually very excited about it. And of course, it's happening in my studio. I'm hosting it, so it's
Yep.
fun. And yeah, yes, it's January. Yes, it's Maryland. Yes, it's cold, but we barely
It's
ever get
cold.
snow. You all will be
But you know
fine.
what? It's better. Like, so I mean, here in Seattle, I have a working studio,
Mm-hmm.
and January, like, we actually still get, like, we get snow sometimes into
Mm.
February. So, like, December, clear as
Oh,
day.
that's
Like,
too
we don't get
funny.
our snow till like
Yeah.
January, February now. So,
Yeah.
and Seattle's not built for snow.
Well,
So,
we tend to get milder winters actually, so it's not that bad. So
yeah.
that's an exciting thing. Then later in the year, and there's many other things in between, but later in the year, the thing that I'm really excited about, I am hosting Tom DeHouwer in my studio. Woot, woot. I can't wait.
Yeah.
He's
That's going to be
actually
fun.
doing his signature masterclass, but more condensed version of it. So he does the 6-day masterclass that he teaches, but we're basically condensing that into 3-day version of that, right? So it's going to be a little bit more accelerated and so on.
Yeah.
It is going to be an amazing class. I mean,
Oh, I'm so excited
his
for
work
that. That's going to be
is
really fun.
speaks for itself. He just
And that's in
recently,
November.
that's November. Yes, we'll share all of these links for you with you guys. But yes,
Yeah.
that's November 10, 9, 10. Like I don't remember the dates in front of me. I don't have them in front of me. Sorry, but somewhere in November, second week
It's
of
all good.
November. It's weekdays, so I won't interfere with your wedding sessions and so on. So, but we'll talk more details about it. There are payment plans and financing and all of
Yeah, we're
this ways of
also
paying for it.
doing a podcast with him together.
Yes.
So
There will be
that'll be
podcasts. Yeah,
fun.
there's a podcast coming up with Tom DeHouwer himself, really digging into what to expect from that masterclass. So that's very exciting. What else? I have personally several workshops that I have in the works that are going to happen in my studio as well.
Your studio is going to get some use this coming year. I'm excited
I
for
am
you.
too. I am too. I have some
That's so
yeah, I
good.
have some workshops this year, but those are for hobbyists, for people who just want to come and have fun,
That's
really not
okay.
for
That's
professional
awesome.
florists. Next year it'll be combination of the two, so I'm very excited about it. And of course
Hmm.
our local organization actually is going to launch their annual calendar, so we'll know who the speakers are. I do know that Tom DeHouwer is going to be their first speaker for January or presenter,
Oh,
and
cool.
then they'll just line up for the rest of the people. I'm not sure who the people are quite yet, but they're not paying me to say this, but honestly, I would highly recommend you joining the group. It's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
actually. What else? Then, of course, there's AIFD, and if I can make it to the SAF convention this time to do Sylvia Cup again, I am gonna try to do that.
Are you going to do it again?
I if
I
I
don't
can if I
know.
can make it, I will do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
Is
I'm
it
going to
still
be
going
able
to be in
to. It
It's
is
going
in
to be in
Florida.
Florida
It
next
is
year
in
too.
Florida. It is. The dates are different though. I have my calendar upstairs. I don't have it with me right now, but it's in Florida. It is
Hmm.
August this year.
Okay.
So yeah, which August Florida
You're going to
does not
brave
sound
the hurricane season again, huh?
fantastic, but
We'll
we'll see
see.
what happens. But I am
I'll
excited
be in
about.
Florida in April and again in June.
Oh, okay. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm teaching
Oh,
with Floriology.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm doing their certification course.
Nice.
And that's going to be, I think that's the one. Let me double check. I think that's the one in June. Anyways, I can't remember which ones. I'll have the specifics below in the description and all that. But I know that I am teaching their wedding bliss class. So I'll be
Nice.
teaching a wedding course. Yep, I already have all the outline for that done. And then I'm also teaching their certificate course. So if you're looking to get certified or do something for competition, I think that's what that class is based on.
Nice.
So learning a lot more like design elements and principles.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I think that sort of recaps what happened last year, right?
Yeah. And maybe a little bit of a sneak peek into
What?
next year.
Yeah,
So.
the sneak peek into the next years. But I know I said let's recap this here, but I think we just kept going in this one. So hey, you know what? If you're still here listening, kudos to you. There's more of
Yeah.
this to come. Now we are still gonna have both of our podcasts independently of each other, obviously, but
Yep.
we are planning on joining forces at least once a month and sort of
Yeah.
dissecting and
Why
discussing
not?
different topics, right? And because we're doing audio video version of this, there might be actually video footages of some tips and tricks as well. So we've got some good stuff cooking. So I think it's gonna be a fun year. I'm looking forward to
It is.
2025.
It's
So
going to be really fun.
all right. Well, I'm gonna say bye on this one, right?
Yeah. I think we're done.
I think this was good. I mean, we can sit here and talk all day, but I think,
we could, for sure.
Right.
We already talked like an hour before this. There was a spider mishap. There was some cat butt involved.
Oh, yeah. It's never a good video call for me if there is no cat appearances.
If there's not a cat butt.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then Gina's birds in the background. Yeah.
It's
if real
you
life.
hear birds, I'm sorry. We have parrots.
Why are
like
you
a
sorry?
lot of parrots.
Like a lot of parrots, yeah.
They're loud. They're loud.
It's a growing family.
That's what they do. It is a growing family. Maybe next time I'll have my little baby.
I think you will have next time your little baby. We should actually debut your little baby on the next video.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that.
Also, sneak peek for next time, we're probably going to talk about a la carte stuff. So if you're a florist, a wedding florist, wanting to do some more offerings, we have something really cool that we're going to share with you.
I think that'll be probably January episode for us, right? January, February episode. One or the other. We haven't quite decided yet.
Fits in the schedule.
But it is going to
This one will be coming out right away because we're recapping the year.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to happen soon.
We are now end of September, towards the end of September that we're recording this. So come October, here you are listening to us banter, closing the year. So, and then we'll, of course, kickstart the year. There will be an episode with Tom DeHouwer. There will be an episode about a la carte weddings, which I am really pumped about releasing that episode.
I think so too. That's going to be a good one.
Honestly, like I don't want to give away anything about it other than if this is something you've been thinking about doing, you may want to listen to this episode. This will be an audio video. Sure. We'll have visuals. We'll have some downloadables for you that will help you. This was something that, okay, a little sneak peek, I guess. Crap, I can't stop talking. Okay. So, well, I reached out to Gina. I'm like, so I want to do this thing. I have never done a la carte. I mean, I've always done just
of course, both
weddings,
of us were like,
right?
oh my God, I've been wanting to do this forever.
And she's like, yes, I want to be. I'm like, so let's do it. So we did one of our working brainstorming sessions. There was a webinar we watched that was put out by STEM Counter. Is that what it was? Every STEM. Okay.
Nope, every STEM.
Anyway,
I have her stuff in the description too.
That was great. It was very helpful. It was very useful. But at the end of the day, I think that meeting, that brainstorming meeting and sitting down and really like breaking it all down into like really
tangible. Hammered yours out in like a day.
Oh, I was like, all right, cool.
She grabbed it and ran. She was like, I got this.
Mood, here we are. And I literally blocked my entire calendar for 2 days. And I was like, Gina, I am ready. You ready? She's like, what?
She's sending me screenshots. She's like, done. I'm like, oh, I haven't even started. But of course we did this through wedding season. So I was
just going to say that I was also like, I did it when I was in between travels. I had a lot of airport times. That's my most productive time, airport time and airplane time. So I cranked it all out during that time. the reason I wanted that to be done fast and furious so that I'm ready for 2025.
Yeah.
And here
Oh
I
my
am,
gosh,
and
yeah, I have so much to
yeah.
do.
So anyways, but I think that's going to be a really good one. But anyways, there's more stuff. I mean, we've got a whole list
Oh
of
yeah.
things coming up. I'm not going to give it all away, but that one I'm really excited
We're
about.
gonna say bye again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye for the third time and for really, for real.
And for reals now. All right. Catch you next time, guys. Thanks for listening.